Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. Fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Well, I don't think that the audio on the Stinger is playing, but okay, whatever. Hey guys, it's Thursday. This week has gone by fast, hasn't it? And the treasuries are still just doing a lot. So let's come over here to the charts. I am a little bit behind this morning because I took my parents to the airport. So, there we go. So ZN yesterday, it was mostly sell throughout the session, but then there was the 20-year auction was just stellar and yields came back down again. And now we've retraced that and then a quick bounce in the overnight session. And I'm not sure, I haven't had the chance to go through and read too much news and so forth, so I'm not quite sure what the driver is behind that, but we're getting quite a bit of kind of jarring reversals in the treasuries lately. We got the ES once again slightly down, and oil getting hammered. Ooh. Zoom in there, man. Oil's getting, well, it's a retracement of yesterday's gains, but still, that's kind of ugly. Silver down again. Man, silver just, looks so bad. And Kappa looking good. Copper's one of the, okay. And Bitcoin, extended its gains from yesterday. Not too much overnight, though. And the dollar a little bit lower this morning. So, not quite 100% sure what to make of all that. Well, I'm going to come over here and check our overnight action. Bank of England shocks markets with surprise 50 basis point rate hike in crusade against red hot inflation. So was that the Bank of England? Then why Treasury is higher? S&P hikes 25 basis points. Norges Banks hikes 50 basis points. I'm just going to come over here. S&P rate hike disappointed markets but matched analysts' expectations, while Norges opted for a larger than forecast rate hike and guided another hike in August. Here we got existing home sales today, more Fed speak. House set to vote on Biden impeachment resolution. Not too much, though. I don't know. Okay, well. An important and historic move by the new governor of Turkey's central bank. It signals dramatic ongoing change away from a monetary policy approach that sought to defy economic logic and fell short. It's weird how some live streams have the emoji button and some don't. It's the first time that you've had it for me. Yeah, so what does it look like? Because on my, like the screen that I get in OBS, there's a little emoji thing in the corner. But that's not what I see in the YouTube studio one. And is that a gorilla? When I first saw that, I was like, is that a... It looked like a mountain. But now I think it's a gorilla. It's a gorilla. Okay, well, we've got here... We do have initial jobless claims here at the bottom of the hour, so... I'm honestly a little nervous to put any orders in today, just because, like, I had to wake up so early. I woke up, like, well, not so early. 30 minutes early to take my parents to the airport. So... Coffee is good. I didn't eat either, so I got some food. So I'll wait for the news here, and then I'll start stuffing my face. What the hell? Andrew Tate is tweeting this morning, you can fight evil or you can run from evil. The problem is evil is very fast. Does that mean that he's going to try and run for it? I don't know. Okay, a little jump there. I'm hearing numbers here, but I'm not hearing the initial jobless claims. Okay, 264 versus 259. So that's a little bit stronger of a reaction than I would expect off of that number. Of course, it reacted a little bit more than I expected last time around too, so... that is higher than slightly higher than last time. That one we might need to dig into the data a little bit. Because there was, like last time around, there was some really strange aberrations going on in individual states. Look at that offer right there at 12. Did not pull. They traded it, but it didn't pull. That may actually be worth after she goes. Department of Labor's website isn't loading it very fast. I'll just wait on Twitter. Okay, well, I am going to eat a little bit here. Well, this kind of floats around, all right? Right. Well, right as I thought, oh, that's an interesting order there. Maybe they bust through this eventually. We come all the way down. Fell all the way down. New session lows, not overnight lows, though. So probably if they were to break through like 05.5, there might be a little bit more of a reaction to it. Very curious. I mean, I think that the news that we got was bullish treasuries. So I think the initial reaction was correct. Cumulative delta is actually still positive. I am really not sure what to make of that movement. Is Powell speaking today too? Yes, he is. So yesterday he spoke to the House. Today he'll speak to the Senate. There are also a number of Fed speakers slated to speak today. Let's see here. On Financial Juice, I have Bowman at 9:55, Howell at 10, Mester at 10. Yeah, and then we have 4-week bill auctions and 5-year tips auctions. And Barkin much later in the day. It could just be the issuance that we're getting today. No. It was like I mentioned, well, there's this pivot down here. Maybe they'll go for a little bit more. They did. Probably some stops on that. Not quite sure what to make of it, to be honest with you. Better to take days off? I'm not going to completely relegate myself to not taking a trade today, but I did wake up a little bit early and I'm not quite feeling myself, so we probably need to be a little bit more cautious here. I sure am tempted. To go short now after seeing all of that volume come through there. That was a really aggressive shift down through the volume. I mean, look at that sell right there. They're being a little shy about taking out the bids now, but look at that. That looks incredibly weak. Opportunity for me to catch the edge there. I guess I'll take it. Jeez. I think you're getting a little bit of a buyer's strike here. The offers aren't hitting the bids super aggressively, but like the bids just keep pulling. Look at that. I don't know if I would have taken that though if I hadn't have seen the clear location to catch the edge, and I'm a little bit worried about how much further this could actually run, because that was already a pretty solid move, right? Yeah, sell side NZN is heavy. Well, so we did retrace the cumulative delta after the news. So I'm not going to say that the deltas were insignificant. What a lot of that really was bids just pulling. I mean, you can see it there. Like when it ticks down, it's like less than 500 contracts. That makes me wonder if it is about the supply coming in later today. Like yesterday, we had the 20-year auction and like treasuries just took off after that. The problem with that is that the 20-year tenor has been kind of like weird, right? And there's been more demand in that side of it than other places. Now that we're getting the other side, maybe there's some selling from it, right? Maybe now we get that kind of supply weighing on the market sort of a thing. And the seller's not like being super active hitting the bids per se, but the bids just pulling out of the way. I think that kind of fits with that theory. So Well, so far I'm not too pleased with how this is going. I did catch a good place to catch the edge, but it's not really running. How did I motivate you to get ATAS? I'm not quite sure how listening to me encouraged you to download ATS for price action / footprint charting. I think you need to listen to me for a little bit more. Because what is the word? What is the word when you say you're very much against something? I am not a proponent of quote unquote price action. Let's put it that way. I'm quite the opponent of price action. This is another one of those. So one of the things I'm seeing right here is that in the 5-year, there was a little bit of pushback there at the bottom. But once again, and I am seeing maybe some steepening, but like look at the 30-year down at the lows. Yeah, let's call it order flow. Although I really don't like the use of the word order flow as like a style of trading. I consider order flow data, right? I consider the style of trading, what I like to call our style of trading is informed trading. Oh, I see. I saw that I was just drawing random lines and moving my technical analysis to another level. Maybe it was you, maybe it was just time. Yeah, I would, they were kind of talking about this in Discord as well, because I think that retail traders have this assumption that you cannot compete with the big traders on informational inefficiency, that they just know too much compared to what we do. And while it is true that they know a lot compared to us, the counter to that is that there's just so much to know. And the market is just so inefficient at factoring that in. You all know something about the market today that is not correctly priced in. Every single one of you knows something. Like, that's actually the challenge with the informed trading, is that there's so much edge out there available. Which edge actually matters and when does it actually matter, right? That's the challenge. Because you really need to be a sniper with it, right? But take the information that you know to try and predict future orders. Well, what's the difference between order flow and order flow data? So a lot of people consider order flow a style of trading, which would be you have the DOM and there's certain signals that you're looking for. So it's really like technical analysis applied to order flow. I think that's an incorrect usage of the word. Order flow is the data, which is to say price and volume with the additional information from the book, from the full order book. That's what I would call order flow, right? An order flow is data, not a style of trading. And you can apply technical analysis to order flow. There are some stylized behaviors in order flow. It's a little bit of a sell there, but it's having a hard time getting away from this 113.04. So we may have a bit of a liquidity hole there. Of course, it's steepening, so the 5-year is kind of trying to push it this way. Hard to tell which side's going to win, if the 5-year is going to pull us up or the 30-year is going to pull us down. I think that if this decides to go down for another leg, that we could start to get some pretty decent downside action, but so far we're not seeing those flows. Might take a while. Seth, are you aware you were on? Yeah, well, they have me on their Twitter feed, if that's what you mean. Like every time that I go live, I should show up on their page. That's always been the case. Of course, I mean, if you heard me on the Squawk or something, that would be a different thing. No on partners. Not sure what you mean. Theos is 30, obviously. I'm a little lost now. I'm sorry. Back and forth at 03.5. I still feel that the bids are a little soft, though. Oh, really? That's interesting. On the right column? No, I don't know what you're talking about. The right column over here, where the tick strike and the thing is? No, in this big column right here, I should show up sometimes, but I don't know why that particular video would show up. That's so old. That's odd. What's stronger, the 5 or the 30-year? Well, so in this situation, it depends on if we're going to trend up or we're going to trend down. Wow. I totally canceled that at the right time. That is a little weird. So it looks like the 30-year won. So what's happening right now is the yields are moving down and we are steepening, which is indicative of a market that believes recession is imminent. Is kind of what I'm seeing right now. This is indicative of a market that thinks that a recession is imminent, but that rates are going to continue to rise, is essentially what I'm seeing right now. In other words, like the S&P 500 is not happy that the yields are rising here above 3.75. Right. So you got to think of it as, okay, oh my gosh. G-Ink is kind of being iffy here. I'm going to try restarting it. Does it need to draw on the screen? There we go. Okay. So if you have your DOM set up the same way that I do, with the 30-year on the left and the 5-year on the right, then up is steep and down is flat. Okay. So we're steep. We're steep. That means when you're steepening, that means you buy the 5 and you sell the 30. Okay. Now you can get a steepener both ways, which is to say you can get a steepener with the treasury selling and yields rising, and you can get a steepener with the treasuries rising and yields falling, right? Because this is more about how the 5 and the 30 are moving relative to each other, right? So if the treasuries are selling and we're steepening, then that means that the selling is more extreme, or it's faster in the 30-year. And so that's what happened, is the 30-year dragged us down, right? And that time around when they went, that kind of looked like a stop run to me. Yeah. I don't think rates will rise. I think in a year or two they will drop rates. We will be back. Well, but I think that's kind of what the market is kind of suggesting, right? I think that the market now believes that the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates in July, maybe even the meeting after that. I don't know if that one's August or September, but essentially they believe that the central banks are raising rates into a recession. And so if that is the case, then yes, we would be reducing rates again early next year, essentially. What I do to find which node is favored in the particular moving kettles, I put up a 4 chart. Yesterday's high low open in an instant. You see who is favored. Well, yeah, you can do that too. I doing it with the DOM and being able to recenter the DOM really gives you a clear indication of what's going on, because you might see it might have been, well, it's very often that overnight the spread has not moved too much. And then, you get one move where the spread happens. And so you kind of have to be able to track it move by move. So it's really useful to do that. Now that time, they actually, the 5-year is actually catching up a little bit now. Now, the 30-year low, overnight low, is 06. So that's still a little skip away. We're definitely getting, like, backwash here. I wish I had gotten the 20 there. Anyways, I mean, the best way to play the spreads is to, again, to predict orders, right? So knowing which way the spread is likely to go. So if I'm right on the current conditions, they might be a little bit stingy here on me. Yeah. So these bids are still really soft, but you're getting backwash. Cumulative delta wise, it's even, but there's definitely some buyers that are being a little bit aggressive, probably profit taking. You can see nobody's hitting me there at 376 yet. See, if they were just playing and still trying to trick people into getting into the market so that they could continue selling, then they would be taking me out almost immediately. That doesn't mean that there's not further downside later, but we're probably going to start developing a range in here. Okay, then now they took me. That wasn't as forced as I would have liked, so maybe they're already ready for another push. You know, it's really frustrating. Yeah, and this would maybe be a good reason to be trading multiple contracts, but putting a limit order out there and seeing how they react to putting your limit order is like one of the best indications of what's going on. You know, if I come in here and I put an offer in between the spread on the micros and somebody immediately buys it, that means that trend is continuing, right? Okay, so let's go back to the spread thing. Now that I have a little bit more brain power here. Okay, so look at this one. Right? So when the drop happened, there was a change in the spread right there. That change quickly washed back out. But it does appear that selling was accompanied by some steepening. Steepening is up. So this one right here, this was the jobs news, right? Jobs news flattened it. And then the treasuries falling out after that steepened it. Trading multiple contracts is better because you make more money, right? But if you miss 50% of your average size, then it makes you sad sometimes. Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, if you were like trading really big and you had like 100 contracts on, and you can just put one contract out there to see if the buyers are really aggressive or not, and then decide what you want to do with the rest of it based on that. So I'm a little torn because I do see the possibility of another little short move lower, but they do appear to be forming a hole of some sort at 113 even. So I think even if we do push a little bit lower, we're likely to come back to that 113 even, which means that my exit wasn't bad. Which means that my exit wasn't bad, but maybe a little early, right? But to get 20 bucks, that's good, because a lot of my trades lately have felt like teeny, like I've only been able to get like 5-10 ticks. So on the other hand, with as dramatic as some of that fall was, I'm actually surprised I didn't get more. Yeah, see it coming kind of levitating back up there. If they continue down through here, then that means that we're like on a real bender. Smells something. I don't know if that was my burrito or if it's something else in this room that I need to be concerned about. Like a child brought food in here and it's rotting somewhere. So I was a little concerned about even getting the 20, but like they're almost to 25 again. No orders going off there. Okay, now I could hit it. Let's see if they go for more. It's really interesting to me. I mean, this is the selling, and this really feels to me like the selling in the treasuries that we'd been waiting for all week, right? You need the market. Well, dude, if you need the market to drop 40 points, that's unfortunate, but I think you might get it. There's definitely the possibility of that in there. Okay, there we go. I guess I cut myself $10 short. Look at that. So for them to sell that aggressively in that location says to me that we're seeing a very, very aggressive set of flows, that this isn't just like one player carefully or carefully executing a large meta order in legs. This is the whole market jumping in front of each other. This is the sort of action that can result in a trend day. The cumulative delta on it is still average. So that also suggests me, and in this location, you gotta be careful because there could be wash back to 113 even, right? But that it's only 10K net difference, and seeing that kind of movement, that's indicative of a trend day. There's decent amounts trading there at 29 and 29.5 too. The 30-year is not quite to its overnight lows, but it's getting close. So we're kind of getting to a potential area of support. This might actually be a good setup. Is like, okay, so we know there's a bunch of bill auctions today. and that the treasuries are likely to sell from central bank hawkishness, and for the yield curve to steepen off of that central bank hawkishness as they raise rates into a recession. So under that scenario, we would expect the 30-year to sell really hard compared to the 5 and the 10. Well, here on the 30-year, we're coming close to the overnight lows. So the technical traders are probably eyeing this level right here and saying, oh yeah, we're going to come short of that, and that means that we're likely to do this. Or even better, it does go a little bit lower, and then it comes back up, right? That's what they're going to be looking for. If I get this, I want to go short again. Because I believe that the flows are going to continue to be selling, that this could potentially be a trend day, right? So you're getting a good opportunity because these technical traders are going to be buying it all in here. And so if we're right and it goes for another new low, you're going to get real stops out of it, right? That's kind of my thinking here. Watch for the trade that the technical traders are going to make and watch it fail. On the other hand, they may just never let up. This is not really backing up much at all, is it? Oh, why do I still have a couple of tabs here open that I don't want to open? Man, I can still smell it. Hold on a second. I'm going to investigate a little bit. I may just be smelling the microphone. I don't know. Kind of has that foam chemical smell to it. It could be from the food in here earlier, but it may also be this. I don't know. I guess that means that I'm not very good at identifying smells, does it? Okay. I'm just checking around here, seeing what's going on. Whoa, what? Unleashing the Walrus? Musk and Mark Zuckerberg agree to a cage match in the Vegas Octagon? What? Nah, this cannot be real. Is this real? Have you guys heard about this? What the heck? Morgan Stanley raises Tesla price target 250 while downgrading stock to equal weight. Number of Americans filing for first-time jobless benefits hits the highest level since October of 2021, but continuing claims drift lower. Let's just read that real quick. California, New Jersey, and Connecticut saw the largest jump in initial claims as perhaps the tech layoffs are starting to register as severance packages run dry. Certainly nothing to prompt the Fed to "I told you so" on the pause, but then again, continuing claims are a week lagged. Yeah. Okay, the battle of the tech billionaires could be about to transition from virtual to physical as Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg exchanged word blows on Twitter that may just mean a cage match between the two intellectual athletes could be in the offing. It started Tuesday night when Musk posted a message on his social media platform Twitter that he was, quote, up for a cage fight with Mr. Zuckerberg. Be careful, Elon. I heard he does the jujitsu now, and Elon responds, I'm up for a cage match if he is. Oh my gosh. So, and it was just some rando. It was just some rando on Twitter. Someone with 32 followers and an AOL email address just convinced 2 billionaires to fight in a cage match. Mr. Zuckerberg on Wednesday then posted a screenshot of Mr. Musk's tweet with the caption, "Send me location." Mr. Musk then replied to Zuckerberg's response with Vegas Octagon. Oh my gosh. As the Daily Caller reports, the spat appears to have grown from business-related jobs. Musk mocked an article which claimed Zuckerberg is creating a rival app to take on Twitter. The article claimed that the purported rival app would be for sanely run and integrate Instagram and Twitter rival Mastodon. Zuckerberg also implied that Twitter is underperforming its potential in a recent podcast interview with Lex Fridman. That's kind of a weird... So, to be honest with you, I don't really trust Mark Zuckerberg's judgment on these sorts of things right now because of the whole metaverse thing. Like, they were really all in on the metaverse, and it was like a total disaster, right? And like Facebook already kind of completely changed their website to be more like Twitter, like way back a long time ago. Creating another app to take on Twitter just seems like really weird to me. You know, what's wrong with Facebook? Okay. I have this great move that I call the walrus, where I just lie on top of my opponent and do nothing, Musk added later, apparently mocking his physical appearance. What is more interesting is that The Verge confirmed with a Meta representative that Zuckerberg wasn't joking, and this might actually happen. The story speaks for itself. Meta spokesperson Iska Sarek told The Verge's Alex Heath, "For now, it appears the ball lies in Elon's court to make this happen. Right now, the odds favor Zuckerberg, who would win in a cage fight by BetOnline AG. Elon Musk is plus 300 and Mark Zuckerberg is minus 500. The odds favor... I don't understand those numbers, but okay. Wait, let's just come and look and see if it's the same. Yeah, it's still the same right now. Which makes sense given that the 39-year-old has recently transformed himself into an aspirational MMA fighter who was already winning jiu-jitsu tournaments, even if the 53-year-old Musk has the advantage in terms of sheer physical size and has talked about being in real hardcore street fights when he was growing up in South Africa. Just remember, the first rule of Billionaire Fight Club is that you don't talk about Billionaire Fight Club. Oh my gosh. Dude, are we realistic? Okay. We have this fight. Okay. Does the loser's stock get hit by the market? Are we seriously looking at a situation where the fate of two stocks, at least in the short term... Wait, let me just say this right. Are we seriously looking at a situation where the outcome of a cage match could affect two stocks, Meta and Tesla? This whole thing is just a little bit... I cannot believe this is actually happening. I cannot believe that this is actually... If they actually have the fight, Okay, like this is insane. If they actually have the fight, it's going to be like the most watched MMA fight ever. Am I wrong? Like, forget Tyson versus Holyfield too, right? This is going to be the biggest MMA event ever. The only thing missing from this story is Joe Rogan. Joe, where's Joe? Surely Joe's about to get involved here, right? Mark Zuckerberg is probably almost certainly in better shape, and Musk is really old too. But Musk is bigger. If he is given enough time, like if you give Musk like 6 months, I think he could win. This with the size difference, you know? Okay, look, we did touch 113 even. Which is where I took my trade-off. Huh? I've been finding that that's been happening to me a lot, though. It's like, I'll see the spot, I'll take it off, it'll go a little bit further, and then come back to it. So I keep getting out a little bit too early, but that means that I'm reading it pretty good. And also that I don't necessarily want to get involved in it right now. You know, this is probably something that it kind of dawdles around here for a while. Not just the 45 minutes, but like really makes people forget about it. And then maybe after we're done trading, it goes for more. I think that like on the market side of this, that it would favor Elon. Like, if they do this cage match, okay, and then Zuckerberg loses, I think that Facebook's stock would get hurt more than Tesla's stock would get hurt if Musk lost. I also think that Tesla's stock will rise more if Musk wins than Facebook's stock will rise if Zuckerberg wins. Right? Like the risk reward basically favors for trading if it actually has an effect on those stocks, which the whole thing is zany, but hey, that's the world we live in. What timeline is this? Or maybe we really are. Maybe CERN really did do something. We've got like billionaires doing cage matches, government employees whistleblowing about aliens. This whole thing is that this can't be the normal timeline. This can't be. Man. Unleashing the walrus. Dude. I'm pretty pumped, man, if they really have the cage match. I think our timeline's turning point was when Harambe was killed. After that, we split from the original time. Yeah, that's been the I've heard that theory before. That it was all about Harambe. Oh my gosh. You know, the funny thing is that a lot of Gen Z kids don't even know what that is. Just, oh man. Ishmael does not know what Harambe is. Okay. Once upon a time, at the zoo, there was a gorilla named Harambe. And this mother was being stupid and let their kid walk on the edge of the gorilla pen. And the kid fell into the gorilla enclosure. And the gorilla kind of like charged at the kid, but then like didn't do anything and actually seemingly protected the kid. But the zoo handlers shot and killed Harambe, essentially. And the whole internet was aghast and shocked, and for whatever reason, Reddit turned it into this huge meme. The world ended with Harambe's death. We've been in a parallel hell ever since. I remember when it happened, it was good times on the internet. I know, like you realize now with since the Reddit blackout, we are in a meme dark age right now. like seriously. How many good memes have you seen this week? I'm just saying. We're in an internet dark age. The world has been downhill since December of 2016. Do we return to the original timeline if the mother or the kid dies? No, I don't know if I don't think that you can return to the original timeline. I think the only way to go return to the original timeline is to I think the only way to return to the original timeline is to go with time travel back to that event and stop it, and then you could be in that new timeline, but the rest of us would continue to be in this one. Are you running that in the background to review later? Oh, no. Well, because your messages... So, D had a problem with an indicator. Your messages kind of suggested to me that you knew what was going on. So I didn't pick it up. Oh, whoa. What was that? Somebody sold 3,000 at 12.30 half, and then the two bids below that pulled. It looks like there'll probably be a liquidity hole, and we'll probably trade 30. Yeah. That was a little weird. And it happened like right on the S&P 500 open. Had to offload some. What do you mean? I'll pick it up after the stream. Because the thing is that, you know, I've definitely run it several times where it doesn't do that, right? So there's got to be something else going on for us to be able to like duplicate the problem. And I kind of wonder if it might have something to do with how long you've had it open. Like, it may have to do with it not resetting cumulative delta at the session beginning or something like that. Oh, I see. that big ice, that big block cell was Zuzi. I got you. Dude, that was that really messed him up, didn't it? The problem is, again, when you get an order like that, it disrupts the instrument so much. The most likely outcome is they come back to 30 half in range there. Yeah, it is definitely a net check. Like if I was still long yields from there and I saw that, I think I would have taken profits. Like, yeah, because you just casually pushing 4 million in margin. Oh man, dude, I was looking at, because I would love to like move up into the mountains and have like a big shed in the backyard, because I would like more room for my gym. I would like more room to work on projects. I don't really want to move though. I don't think I'm ever gonna move, but you know, it's enough that every once in a while I'll go down the hole when I'm bored, you know. So I'm looking around for like properties up in the mountains, and like good properties with a couple of acres of land and stuff like that. Millions of dollars now just for the land, Like, things have gotten so ridiculously expensive. So like 4 million in margin is apparently not that much money anymore. You know what? It's the Pareto principle, right? Like when you get the capital, it just moves exponentially, man. Part of me wants to start a family, and part of me wants to get a dog and live in a log cabin in nowhere. Well, I don't necessarily want to live nowhere. I would still like to be, like, I would like to live in Park City, somewhere where, you know, it's still only 10 minutes drive from Walmart, okay? But I also want some outdoor land. Yeah. I guess I could buy a cabin. I could get a cabin and then go up and live there in the summer and have 2 houses. That's what I should do. That's what I should do. By the way, the 30-year bounced really hard off of that too. That's, yeah. Oh, I never finished this comment over here. Back to 113 even. I'm pretty happy with how I ended up playing this in the end. Anyways, my uncle, who I've been doing a lot of woodworking projects with lately, sometimes I really think that he just wants to go out into the woods and like never talk to another soul again. Not that he like hates people. He's got his friends and he's friendly and he's social and everything, but like he is just not like the people, you know, like when you're out driving, like everybody's an idiot, like groups of people, everybody's an idiot, you know. And it just in general feels like that the society in general has gone a certain way and it's dumb. And I definitely commiserate with him. That Uzi says that's me. I understand why people feel that way. I don't think that going out and not talking to anybody really gets you what you want, though. Now, for him, I mean, the thing is both myself and my uncle are pretty ADHD. He's like me if I was never medicated, essentially, and so interpersonal relationships are a little bit different, and I wouldn't blame anybody with ADHD that just decides, that has enough success to just completely go it alone, and that's what they do. Because it can be hard to get along with people sometimes. You have ADHD. But I think that especially when you're like concerned about the way that the society is going and things like that, I think that the answer is that you've got to build closer ties with your local community. Is how my approach. So. Hold on a second. We're having a discussion in Discord. I'm looking for an example of something. Oh, that's funny. The last day of the month is a Friday. Okay, so that means that non-farms will be the week of the 4th. Yeah. Make sure your wife is smarter than you. If not, get the dog. You will be happier. I think really what it is for me is like our backyard. Our backyard is getting kind of nice. I really want to go and get like an arch, like a big white painted arch trellis sort of a thing to go in there, and string some lights like Italian style lights back there. And the backyard will really become something that's like quite full of life. I just kind of wish that I had a bigger spot of land to do more things like that, you know? Like I wish I had a big plot about the size of my current yard that I could just turn into one big garden, and then have another plot that I could have as a pasture for animals or something like that, you know? That's why I kind of think about, it'd be nice to go up into the mountains or maybe get get some of that farmland that's over on the other side of the freeway or something like that. You know? But in order to do that, I would need to be in a position where I was not... like right now, I can really only do that kind of work on the weekend, you know? I would need to be in a place where I was kind of only working part-time, you know? How big? Oh, no. It's not that bad. I don't actually know what the numbers are and the sizes are. But I have a backyard that has three levels to it with a rock wall separating each one. And each level is probably about like 25, 30 feet wide. So we've got enough room for a decent sized garden and for a chicken pen. Then on the side of the house, we put the rabbit. There's room, but there's not room. Like if I wanted to build a pool, for instance, in the backyard, I could probably do it, but it would be weird. And I don't know if it would positively affect the resale value of the home if I put a pool in that way, for instance, right? It's things like that. So that's why I was like, it would be nice to move somewhere where I had a larger plot. And I could do, so that I could have my alpaca farm and so on and so forth. But where I live is not necessarily a new neighborhood. It's kind of the old neighborhood that has a lot of more wealthy people. It's large enough that there are some people in what we call in Utah, we have wards for church, right? And it's only a few blocks. So in my ward, there's a couple of people that are extremely wealthy. And there's also people that are not wealthy at all and are like just starting out of college, right? So it's like an older neighborhood, but then there's like one street that, there was a guy that had sat on the land forever and sold it and they developed the land. So there's like 5 or 6 new houses built by a home buyer. They're not cookie cutter homes either. They're all each very different and built to the specifications of the people that built them. I tell you what, though, I remember when I was a missionary and we were in like the Olathe area of Kansas City, that was like cookie cutter McMansions as far as you could see, man. That was so weird. Like I never even imagined that such a place existed. Literally these gigantic houses, much larger than anything, because I thought, we're upper middle class, houses in my neighborhood are pretty big. Like these houses were all like twice as big as that, and it just went on as for miles as far as you could see. Just and they were all cookie cutter homes. Like every third house was the same plan. And they all were very much McMansion-y looking, right? Like they had like unnecessary pillars in the front and that sort of thing. As far as you could see. And the most common kind of car that we would see there was like a V10 Mercedes or something like that. It was like, geez. We'd see so many nice cars. We'd see so many nice cars in that area. It's actually interesting because some of the nicest cars were ones that I never would have. They weren't flashy, right? So now we're moving to 03. You think that they can cross this divide here and get all the way back up to like 07, for instance? I'm wondering if that sell down there, like that 3000, was just like the last little bit of the meta order or something like that. Because it's been nothing but up since that. I wouldn't recommend trying to make a big conclusion about, because it has reversed since then, but trying to make a trade off of a big order like that is kind of has a lot of problems baked into it. You lived in Texas and you miss it there? They were doing a bill to get rid of property taxes in Texas or something like that. Because apparently right now, the taxes in Texas overall are actually just as bad, if not worse, than California because of the property taxes. It's kind of weird. So then they're going to get rid of the property tax? How's that going to work? But yeah, that area here, actually, I can show you on a map. Let's go. Let's see if we can use Google Street View and find these neighborhoods I'm talking about. There's some weird places in Salt Lake. There's this one place in Salt Lake City that it's an old neighborhood and it's not a nice area. But then there's this one turn you go off and it's just like this gigantic circle. And every house in that gigantic circle are like the nicest houses you've ever seen. That place is insane. Okay, so we're in Kansas City. Olate. Okay, so maybe I think we need to be able to see. Terrain. Sorry, satellite. I want to see satellite. Satellite. There we go. Okay. So these are the areas that I'm talking about. Oh, these ones aren't that nice. Nah. So do I need to go even further out? Yeah, that's a little bit more like it. Yeah. See what I mean? Every single one of them is a 3-car garage, unnecessary pillars and stuff like that in the front. And I mean, look at how far back those houses go to, right? They're deep. They're deep. Yeah. But I'm saying that okay. So we put one somewhere in here. This whole area right here. This whole area is like that. And the further out you go, the further out this way you go, the more insane it gets. How much are those approximately? I bet that most of those houses are worth $1 million now, but I don't know. I have no clue. Look at Windermere, Florida. But that's the thing that I'm saying is that oh man, this is going to be crazy, isn't it? I can already, because it's just this tiny little island in the middle of. Oh, that is a weird place. That is a weird place. Okay. Let's try putting ourselves down in here. Oh, that's normal. Really nice yards. That's nice. Oh, okay. Now, if you show me in Miami, then you're gonna get. Then we're gonna have houses that I just can't even. That I can't even compare. You can't see that spot. It must be a private area, huh? Yeah. Yeah. They weren't allowed. They weren't allowed to go into the private neighborhood. Ah! Oh, funny. But when you look at it from the oh wow. Okay, that must be the country club. Yeah, okay. Yeah, those are some big houses. Yeah, what are some houses like that in Utah? Nothing like a whole island that nice though. Oh jeez. Let's see if I can find some super nice places. The thing is like the average house in Utah is actually really nice compared to a lot, like especially compared to the Midwest. Man, treasuries came back down there pretty hard. Interesting. What are they at again? Not quite where I got out, but still. So I can think of some places out in here. So like over here, what is that? That's the highway. Oh, that's Farmington. Okay. I want to say like right here. Yeah. Look at this house. There's this house that's relatively close to me. Look at that thing. Look at that house. You ever seen a house like that before? Now that is not a McMansion. I don't know what you call that. And I don't know if it was like less than that before and they like added onto it or what. I mean, it's only a 3-car garage, but like still, that's like, it's so long. So there's a lot of houses like that over in this area. Because it basically it's like a farm it's like farming area, right? And rich people will come over and buy them, right? So here you get some of these houses that are just like shacks, right? That are just like shacks. And then every once in a while you get one that's just ginormous. There's a place that they're still building. Oh man, come on. How many times do I have to click? You see, like people, there's still areas with like lots of land out. Oh, they blurred that house out. Oh, that is interesting. Wow. Have you ever seen that on Google before? The most expensive home. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Actually, you're talking about that one up in Park City. There are some houses where if you really get up here. Let's see if I can find one. Maybe this area. This area looks kind of nice. Ooh, that's not bad looking. Here, I know. Let's do this. Zillow.com. Yeah, I don't know if it's probably in an area where we wouldn't be able to look at, and it might not even be mapped, but there's this YouTube channel where they show you big homes and they toured that particular home because it was 42 million. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I'll just put Salt Lake City. Let's see what's for sale in the Salt Lake City area. That's like really expensive. So like minimum. Oh, come on. You for real? It only goes up to 900? I want like 5 million. Apply. Cool. Oh, 11 million in Heber City. That must be a multifamily home. Yeah. There's no way that something... Oh, no, that is in Park City. Oh, here's one. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 17 million. Oh, no, it's... Okay, let's tone it down a little bit. Let's do 2 million. 2 million. Oh, not... It needs to be a house. Maybe lots and land. Okay, okay. I don't know. I'm a little underwhelmed by the kitchen on that one, to be honest with you. Good. This is an okay porch. I like the porch. Oh. Got okay views. You know, they're surrounded by trees and stuff at least. Holiday. Oh, I like that floor. I don't know, that millennial gray next to such a warm floor is not working for me. I think that you guys need to repaint your walls beige. Yeah, that's not working at all. That's not working at all. Nah, somebody made some questionable decisions in this house, I think. I don't know if I would buy this house. If I was going to spend that much on a house. It's, you know, it's a little crazy to me because, like, okay, this is definitely big. I don't recall how big my house is. I think mine is, like, I have no clue. I really have no clue. I think that's a much larger house than mine, but I think that my house is probably worth like 800, 900K now. So to compare that, it's only a 5-bed, 5-bath. It's a little bit like, huh? For 2 million, I would be expecting to get a lot more rooms than that. That looks more like what I would be expecting to see in Park City. Really steep roofs and stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh, what is that? Is that a picture in the background? That looks like pine to me. I'm not a huge fan of pine. Oh, interesting. Tile. Range hood. Not the largest kitchen, though. Oh, yeah. Look at that bathroom, though. Whew. Oh, my gosh. Dude, that is like every woman's wet dream right there. Can you imagine? That's where you put your makeup on? Oh. Yeah. That is, that can't be. Is that the master bedroom right there? That can't be. Big deck. I want to go buy this house. Let's go live there. I could see myself in that one. Let's just say. Ooh, now we're stepping up. 4 million? New construction though. Kind of got a modern look to it. You gotta have a good deck though, yeah? Oh, okay. Wow. $1,132 quarterly HOA fee? And 2,178 square feet. So again, that other one that was like 2 million. How is that? Was that a 500 square foot house and it only had like 5 beds, 5 baths? Like twice as big as this one, but the same number of bedrooms. That's crazy. But I like this. You know what I really want to do? Now let's finish looking at this one. I'm liking that. Ooh, a hot tub on the deck. Yes, sir. Oh, you don't really get a real yard though. Probably because you're like right next to where they ski, huh? Yeah. Okay, so what I really want though is like house. I'll put no minimum on it. But I want it to be somewhere. I guess I could probably get away with over here. I don't necessarily want it to be in Rose Park, though. Somewhere close to the airport. I want to create a landing pad. That's weird. What's going on with that? Basically, I want a house with a lot of bathrooms. That's actually what I should do. That's what I should look for. Okay. Number of bathrooms. 4+ bathrooms. Yeah, okay. Probably they're going to be 4 baths, huh? Like 4 bathrooms, but kind of ghetto looking. That might work. Basically, you want one where you can have a lot of people, but they don't all live there all at the same time. And it's cheap. These are a little bit too nice. Maybe Woods Cross. Before the pandemic, I had found some houses that I thought could work. Are we talking about trading or we're house shopping? For house shopping, I guess. Oh, we came all the way back down there, huh? I kind of thought that we were done, but it looks like it's still doing stuff. Is this that exact setup that I was talking about earlier? I'm not sure I believe in it anymore now. I'm not going to move, but I want to buy an investment property and turn it into a landing pad. That's what I want. By vacant land. Doesn't look like at the moment that there's any places close enough to the airport to really do it, though. Oh, yeah, by the way, Powell should be testifying here, Senate, next hour, right? Okay, so back to here. Let's look at it on the 30-year. So the idea that we had was that it would bounce up here and then it would come back. And the technical traders are probably buying it here, right? And I was saying it might make sense to keep selling it. So right here at this spot, I don't think is a very good place. But this thing right here, oh yeah, you could have gotten short here. Like, can you imagine you're short here right now on the possibility of it going lower? Isn't that so much of a better trade than long here? Though I think that this activity that we saw right here in particular, and the amount that it came back and everything, kind of makes me question the whole setup. So I'm not entirely sure what it's going to do. Probably not going to try playing it. I think those which ones were crushed. Oh, news update. Okay, so you know what? I don't think I understood the whole what the interest in the submarine thing was. Because like when I started reading more stuff about it, the reason everybody's interested in the submarine thing is because they were so dumb and they were saying a bunch of woke stuff. So the conservatives are in particular are like really ragging on them. That's why they're interested in it. But you know, I've been doing a little bit of reading, and the idea that it actually like decompressed, right? Because it wasn't rated to go down that far. I think that's a really good theory. Like that they've been dead the whole time, and that's why they lost contact with them. Was a human interested? I don't care. Well, yeah, but it's kind of a combination, right? Now, on the other hand, wouldn't, you know, this could distribute this entire area. Yeah, I don't know. But the thing that makes me a little bit worried is that we've had days here where I thought, oh man, like you just sell this, and it completely retraced the whole range. Like yesterday is what it did, right? So I think when I took the trade, it was a good call. Probably should have caught it a little bit earlier than I did, but it sure played out quite spectacularly, and I got out in a pretty good location too. It's just not why you personally found the story interesting. I guess. I guess I should just say that there was a political angle to this story that I did not realize that seems to be contributing to the amount of online discussion about it. Because when I brought it up, I was surprised at how much people were saying about it. And like, there was so much to know about the situation. And I'm like, why are people going that deep into it? I don't remember. I remember reading carbon fiber somewhere. But the whole thing is, the thing I'm confident is is that it wasn't rated to be that far down. And so a lot of people on Twitter were saying that they're probably dead. Like, I saw that, and we're past the period where their oxygen would have run out. So I bet you they give it a few more days, but that they probably give up the search. I also wonder if, like, so something that could possibly have happened is, like, it did decompress, or there was a leak of some sort, but that it wasn't completely, like, didn't completely fill it all at once, you know? You think that's possible? Because the thing is there was that banging noise, right? How do you explain that? Oh, I guess the market did sell a little bit on existing home sales unexpectedly rose in May. Totally. Is my news clock still connected? Yeah, it is. I think I just ignored him when he said it. Existing home sales changed to 0.2% versus a negative 0.7%. Said it could be anything from geological activity to other ships showing up in the area making noise. Either way, they're probably dead now, right? R.I.P. and pepperoni. So, like, the whole thing is, what are people going to talk about now? Oh, no. We know what they're going to talk about, right? They're going to talk about Musk versus Zuckerberg. This needs to be like a whole reality TV series sort of a thing. Like, they need to follow their training. Each one of them needs to get, like, real training, right? So, like, Musk can get trained by Joe Rogan, and who could train Zuckerberg? Who do we have kind of more of a lefty that would train Zuckerberg? I don't know, but we could get him in on something. And did you have cameras follow their training the whole time and everything? No, Bill Gates is Bill Gates an expert MMA trainer? No, we need an expert MMA trainer to train Zuckerberg. Maybe he already has an expert MMA trainer and he doesn't. You can write the code for it. Well, I tell you what, Bill Bates. Bill is definitely going to be there at the match watching, right? He's going to have seats. Oh my gosh, man. Again, this is going to be the biggest MMA fight of all time, right? Tickets for this are going to be hot. They're going to be like front row seats are going to be going for millions of dollars, guys. Would you rather have a 5,000 square foot house in Park City or see Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg fight live. Come on. Would you fight Ben Shapiro? Maybe. I think we're about the same size. I bet you Ben Shapiro might be bigger than me. Like Ben Shapiro is 5'9". But I have really thin wrists, you know? I'm probably in better shape than Ben Shapiro, though. Ben Shapiro does work out, though, right? Let's see. Ben Shapiro works out. I remember when I was in high school, there was this other kid that was about my size, and people were always asking about who would win in a fight. But like the kid, he thought that he would win, but everybody was like, nah, because Seth actually does wrestling and stuff. But I don't know. I'm not a particularly strong person. Yeah, I bet you Ben Shapiro would beat me in an arm wrestle. Oh, look, here's an image of him. There you go. I don't have those kinds of. I don't have that kind of bicep. He's probably got more bone. I bet you that he's actually more like. So like I'm 155 kilos, something like that. No, not 155. I'm like 75 kilos. And I bet you he's more in the like 80 kilo range. Khabib, who is that? A Russian mixed martial? No, it can't be a Russian. Really? It's got to be some lefty globalist kind of controversial person. He lives in Utah now? Oh, okay. I'm telling you, Park City's a nice place to live. There's some big houses up there. I don't think those people live in those houses all year round, but some nice places up there. Well, Conor McGregor, he's kind of... That's the thing, is a lot of MMA is kind of right-wing, isn't it? Controversial left-wing MMA. Okay, here we go. Are there any left-wing fighters? Kevin Lee gave a speech at a Bernie Sanders rally. Karolina Kowalkiewicz has been posting a lot about the fight for pro-choice fights in Poland. Angela Hill is pretty left-wing. Ronda Rousey came out in support of Bernie 2016. We could do Ronda. Okay, so Ronda Rousey trains Mark Zuckerberg, and Joe Rogan trains Elon Musk in Vegas. October, let's say. I'm sure that Elon Musk is working on getting a venue as we speak. You think they're going to go for more? They sure are sitting precariously on the edge here. It's going to be so lame. I'm sure that everybody that watches, that all of the MMA fighters are going to say it was like the worst MMA fight I ever saw. Just like it's a Saturday night. Right? Our timeline has been turned into a Saturday Night Live skit. I kind of think that Elon Musk has been doing and saying controversial things on Twitter just to get more people to get on Twitter, though. I almost never work out except for picking up my kids and throwing them in the air. Says Elon Musk 12 hours ago. Imagine how many contracts Musk and Zuckerberg will have to sign. Their lawyers just got tons of billable hours. I'm pretty sure Zuck would. How old is Mark Zuckerberg? Mark Zuckerberg age. 39. So Elon Musk is 10 years older than him. You might be right. I tell you what, there's something called old man strength. That is definitely a thing, okay? But I don't think that Elon Musk has the old man strength. I think that Elon Musk is not in very good shape at all. It is, but it manifests mostly in grips. Oh, well, this is true, grip. I've always found that like old guys, if you arm wrestle them, are like surprisingly strong. So close. This time it's the 5-year leading, which is... I really thought that we were going to get like a real change in the spread, and it kind of like moderated after we saw it start to take off. You know what else we need here is we need Jeff Bezos to get in on this somehow. Now, Jeff Bezos is much, much older. 28.5 just went. Oh, that traded 28 awfully fast. You know what? I think the worst mistakes that I make in trading is not trusting myself. Because I drew out almost to a T exactly what was going to happen right at the very beginning of all of this, right? And it's playing out. It's playing out. Am I nervous? No. Why would I be nervous? My lips are a little bit chapped. No, I'm probably a little dehydrated. I'm okay with the trade that I took. I really was not planning on like really taking on a lot of risk today because I woke up super early. So I'm actually like thinking back on it, I'm kind of surprised that I took the trade as decisively as I did. I was like, okay, I'm expecting selling. I'm seeing a pretty good sell trend and I see a good place to as she goes. And I did it and it worked out. And it didn't work out super great at the beginning. I had to sit through a lot longer than I wanted to. But I did not really feel the pressure on that one like I normally would. No, it was both, right? That's like as I said, I was expecting selling, right? I was expecting selling and I saw it and I saw the perfect place in the order flow to take advantage of it. Yeah, you want both ideally. Because I mean that's the whole thing is that what is interesting about market microstructure. Okay, normal what we would call technical analysis trading is like, okay, when you have X setup, it is likely to play out this way X% of the time, right? Okay. Order flow is not the same thing. Order flow is if you have this flow come in to these market conditions, you can predict with 100% accurate, well, let's not say 100% accuracy, but with extremely high accuracy, how it's going to move. Which is how I was able to come back in here and say, okay, well, this is the flow that I think that we're seeing today, so I think you're likely to see a relatively decent pullback and then them come back down and make new lows, right? I'm only able to do that because I understand the order flow and I knew something that was predictive of the orders. The difficulty with where we trade is knowing that what you know is the significant thing, right? Because I might know one thing, there could be something else out there that ends up being more important that I don't know about. You don't know, right? So that's, I don't know how to quantify that particular bit. That's like the discretionary bit of it. But it does seem like we've gotten pretty good at it. Like, just as an example, it's been a long time since I've been in a trade and it like really did something against me, for instance, right? Like a freak out of, you know, I've learned how to, like, when it's likely to do something and when it's not, and how to avoid some of that uncertainty and so forth, so that I'm able to get in. It goes my way pretty quickly after I get in, and then I know exactly when to get out, right? And I'm able to do that based on the empirical properties of order flow, right? So if I know what the flow is going to be, I should be able to use that information to get myself in a good spot. And so ideally, you would want to get in on a place where if I'm using a limit order, I would want to get in where there's an iceberg with me. And if I'm going to use a market order, I want to get in a place where I can catch the edge, right? So it's just like a combination of a lot of little tiny things. I think on the technical analysis side, so here's where it kind of gets weird on the technical analysis side, is if I was going to do a technical analysis sort of or let's say a quantitative strategy, I would be combining a bunch of tiny little edges together, right? Now, where that becomes difficult is if you say, okay, when I see this setup, it has X% of going up, but then I also add this and add this and add this, and I have so many confirming things that when I do actually get the signal, it's extremely likely to happen, right? I found those strategies don't work very well because you just don't get enough data samples to be able to actually get a statistically significant result, right? So what I think you do instead is you create like a kind of a fuzzy logic system where you have like 24 different pieces of things that you've identified as an edge, and you combine them together into a voting system that, you know, when you get a high enough of a confirming signal and a low enough of a non-confirming signal, that you take the trade. And that should happen enough that you get enough samples to get a statistically significant result. And then, right. Because that's what we're doing, is we're combining every little part that we know, all of the 5 main pieces of the market where we know that there actually is edge, and or rather that there are market inefficiencies, right? And taking advantage of them all together, and then you get something that so far has seemed pretty workable. I think that they may try to push a little bit further. So the 30-year is kind of holding them back, but especially with the S&P 500 now rallying quite aggressively since the open, I probably likely to continue to see the treasuries sell. Right? So just going back, what was it that I knew that I was expecting selling? Well, so we are getting a lot of supply coming into the treasury market, and we're expecting financial conditions to tighten a little bit. Now, yesterday, we were also expecting that, and we didn't get it. We were wrong. And why was that? Because the supply that we got was the 20-year, and I had kind of forgotten that the 20-year has been a weird one, and that the demand for the 20-year has been really, really good. But where the supply is really coming in, the treasury is doing it in the shorter term bills, and that's what we're getting today. We're getting bills, we're getting 5-year, and so that's why I believe the treasuries are selling as aggressively as they are. So I was expecting to see selling. I saw enough of a trend down in cumulative delta in the order flow to see that flow was playing out. I got a spot in the DOM. Okay, I have everything that I know about volatility and so forth, right? So that was the piece of information that I've kind of been waiting on all week, right? Now, but this is where the discretionary side of it comes from, right? Yesterday, I took it, and I didn't like the way it was behaving after I got in the trade, and I scratched it, and that was the right call, right? It's Thursday. I basically, this is like the first major trade I've taken all week. Why was it that if I was expecting selling this whole time, and it's not the first time that it's sold, that today was the day that I ended up seeing it and doing it? I can't explain that. But it seemed, I feel as of late that I've gotten to this point where I have enough experience that I just kind of intuitively understand when our edge actually matters and when it doesn't. But before, you were kind of like not technical as shit, look at information. Well, now, so on the technical side of it though, it's, I don't even know if what you could consider what I just said there like technical analysis. You know what I mean? It really depends on your definition of technical analysis. But what I would say is that the way that I am using technical information and factoring those sorts of things into my trade is very, very different from how your technical analysis trader does, right? Because your technical analysis trader is looking for a specific pattern that they think is predictive of the future, right? And instead, what I'm saying is the only thing that predicts the future is the orders. If I know that the orders, if I have a prediction for the orders, then I should be able to predict how price will move based on those orders, right? And that's why all of these kinds of like the price action setups, like I had described a price action setup that a lot of these guys would use, it fails in this instance because that setup doesn't tell you anything about what the orders are going to come through, right? So one could call it confirmation, but to me, it's really more about like what is actually a good price within that current market condition, you know? What is a good price? What is good timing, right? The edges that we have on the more technical side are things that can tell us if that is a good price or this is a good price, if this is a good time, if that is a good time, and not necessarily like, you should take a trade or not take a trade. Because in the end, I come in when I really feel strongly that I have an informational edge, I'm going to take a trade, right? And I'm going to take it earlier rather than later, usually, right? But all of this other information kind of tells me if I'm actually like in a good spot that I can actually justify executing it there, you know? So it's not technical analysis because it's not trying to use the past data to predict the future, right? That's the key difference, I think, right? I'm trying to use anticipated future data to predict the future, right? And that anticipated future prediction is based on information, not anything that I'm seeing in the market. Or rather, not anything that I'm seeing on the exchange, let's say. Right? Because that's the whole thing is the real assertion I am making, what I'm trying to explain, what the research shows is that the market microstructure works against technical edges and works in favor of informational edges. But it creates so many informational edges that you run into a really difficult decision problem that you have to sort out. But I feel that that's an easier problem to sort through, that humans are actually quite good at dealing with compared to the problems that you get on the technical side relating to, fat tails and all that, right? What are the 5 main... Oh, okay, so Ferrari. Go and watch my latest video when I talk about it, okay? But basically, the 5 things that you're going to want to look at are order flow, correlated instruments, volatility, risk management, and informational inefficiencies. Those are the 5 things that are well established in the literature as there being aberrations about how the stock market works through which you can make money from. Okay, so we know for a fact, and this is kind of more what Lucas is trying to do, is correlated instruments, right? We know for a fact that there are certain instruments that are kind of correlated and you can do statistical arbitrage between them, right? Okay, we know for a fact that implied volatility tends to be greater than realized volatility. Okay, that's something that we know about volatility. We can control our risk and set ourselves up with, I want to take relatively equal risk reward so that I'm avoiding fat tails that will really surprise me, so that, I think that I'm trading well and then I run into the fat tail and I find out that I'm not, right? There are behaviors in the order flow that we know. For instance, there's a very strong autocorrelation in whether they are buying or selling, right? Today, it's been a sell. It's been a sell. Like, it was hard to tell at the beginning. It was hard to tell at the beginning, but the cumulative delta pretty much sell this whole time, right? You tend to get strong autocorrelation. And this is just the second leg, right? This is probably the same order, but a second leg.
He says he's not really doing the correlations. Okay. You think it's going to pop to the upside, the treasuries? Well, define a pop. You found an interesting way to visualize autocorrelation easily? Okay. Because I have found that I can, like, you know, I have my little, I have all these different charts open. Sorry, I'll go back over to the charts. I have all these different charts open, and on all of them, I have, like, the global cursor on, so that I can come in and I can say, okay, the treasuries sold here. Okay, but during that time, equities were actually buying. So inverse correlation. And I can kind of go over and say, okay, this moved strongly through here. Oh, and this instrument also moved strongly. So maybe that was the correlation. Because when I go and I look at, like, these indicators and stuff that are supposed to show me correlations between things, I don't actually see that, oh yeah, they were really correlated during that location or whatever the deal is, right? So I've never found an effective way of quantifying how correlated things are in the way that I myself intuitively see correlations trading the DOM. Don't understand that. Okay, do you really think there's any value in cumulative delta for a sell order? There's a buy order and vice versa. So yes. So cumulative delta is the best indication that we have of informed trading, essentially. So if you're looking for something that's like probability of informed trading, once you get into this, is the order flow informed or not, sort of a thing, you start going down that rabbit hole. You'll often find this study where they have an indicator called PIN, which is called probability of informed trading. And if you really go into it, it's basically all about how much volume was in that bar, and was the bar up or down, and all of these sorts of things. And then they did a study and they found that it was pretty good at saying what is the probability of informed trading. But if you really read the study, and problem is sometimes the words in academia are different from the words that we're using here in futures trading and everything. But they basically say, if you know what the sign of the market orders are, that's a better indication. And the whole reason we're doing this is because in most of the data sets that we're dealing with, we don't have that, right? So market orders is the best indication that we have of informed trading. And in particular, there is one of the strongest empirical results that we have about order flow is that there is a strong persistence and autocorrelation of those signs. So if you just pick any order at random and you see that it's a buy, you're 0.5% more likely to also pick a random order in an hour and it be a buy. Okay. That might seem like that's a really tiny thing, but that's actually like a really statistically significant thing. And the fact that it's like even an hour later, right? Which is to say that when you've got somebody's, well, okay, so then you go back. Why did that happen? So they start doing all of these studies and they say, here's a model and here's a model, and they didn't match. And so then finally they came up with the meta order idea. They said, well, maybe it's just that there are really big guys out there and they're selling over the whole day is what kind of causes this, right? And then when they modeled that, they found that it matched up with the market behavior the best, okay? And so that's why we think that we get this sort of a thing, is that they're selling it, they sell a little bit until they kind of reach the extent of what they can do without like totally causing the order book to panic. They back off, they let it reverse, and then they come back in like 45 minutes later. And that's why you can come back an hour later and you'll still see that imbalance of selling, right? So yes. Now many people will say that many people have had trouble with cumulative delta, right? And I believe that that's because they're looking for the opposite thing that they should. So the way that I see most retail traders try to use cumulative delta is when there's a divergence between them. They're like, oh, okay, I saw cumulative delta rise, but price actually declined. So that divergence is probably going to resolve itself, and these traders are going to get stopped out, and I want to go this way or that way, right? I would recommend against taking a trade in that situation. I want to trade when cumulative delta is clearly trending in one direction and price is well correlated with that. So I've actually done some strategies. Of course, I have to use tick replay data and stuff, so there's a little bit of sketchy stuff around it. But some of the best quantitative strategies that I've made were basically, is there autocorrelation in cumulative delta? And is there correlation between cumulative delta and price? And if those correlations are high enough, then it takes a trade in the direction of the trend. Right? SND versus... I really don't think that the resting orders, there is informational content in them, but it's not as valuable as the cumulative delta, because the cumulative delta are orders that have actually been put through, right? Now, the thing is that the way that we want to think about it is like, okay, if more people are buying than selling, then obviously it's going to go up. So I want to see, are there more people buying? But then once you actually come into a market and you understand how a market works, that question doesn't make any sense, right? Because for every buy, there's a sell, and so on and so forth. So really what it is which side is more aggressive, right? So this comes into the Kyle model of the markets. So the Kyle model of the market is that there's one guy and he's a market maker and he's just trying to make money on the spread. And there's another guy that is an informed trader and he is trying to make money off of some sort of information that he knows without tipping off the rest of the market that he knows something, right? And then there's everybody else. There's the noise traders, right? So if we think of the informed trader as the market orders and the market maker as the limit orders, okay, then this kind of makes sense, right? If the market orders, if there is a persistent imbalance in the market orders, that's a effective signal that there is an informed trader in the market and that it's going to continue trending in that direction. And that's why cumulative delta ends up being so important. Resting. Well, okay. So here's the issue that you have with resting orders is that they're unreliable, which is to say, sorry, I wasn't too loud there, am I? Which is to say, there's a big order at 122, 25 and a half, 31, 32 sitting there, right? Okay. If we get down to that price, does it actually trade 3,000 contracts there? Because it's very frequent that you'll see a big order like that and then it actually ends up trading nothing through there. Or you see an order like that and it ends up trading like way more than that, right? And so it's not just what you see on the book, right? It's not just resting orders. You have to think about latent liquidity, right? So what is latent liquidity? Latent liquidity is, if we go over like a 5-minute period, how many people are willing to provide liquidity in that location? Essentially, how many people are actually available to execute against during that whole period? Once you factor in all of the pulling and moving around and all of that sort of a thing, right? So in order for us to be able to see what the latent liquidity truly is, we kind of have to see it trade, right? We kind of have to see it trade, but it also has to do, wow. Okay, so there was a little slip there. They might be ready for another breach of the lows. I don't know. That one's a little sketchy. I don't like it when it does that sort of a thing, but you know, so this is why I want to see, like, every time it ticks up or down, how many contracts traded, right? Because what I want to see is, okay, it traded down on 500 contracts. Then it goes bid again, it trades down on 500 contracts. So that's saying that, like, there's only 500 contracts willing to execute at any given time, but it tends to be just consistent over time, right? And then all of a sudden it changes, and now all of a sudden there's 2,000 contracts there that they're able to trade, right? That tells me that, like, the liquidity increased for some reason, right? Is that change in it? I'm trying to judge what the latent liquidity is, and the latent liquidity is the thing that kind of ends up, like, guiding things, right? So I'm looking for a location where, like, the latent liquidity seems really, really low. Like, they're only putting up like 100 contracts, and then it trades and it goes bid, and they're only putting 100 contracts on bid, and then it trades back down and there's only 100 contracts on offer. And even worse is, like, if they do trade up or down, it's like even less than what was bid or offered. So, like, most of the orders that are being put on there are just robots trying to get spots in line, and they don't actually want to be executed, right? That, to me, that's the low latent liquidity. And especially if there was a large transaction there before that, those are the spots that we tend to start rotating around. And then I know, okay, this is a bad time to try and put an order in. I'm going to wait 45 minutes. Hope that I get a better price. And while everything is unreliable on its own, yeah, but that's not what I was trying. That's not what the point that I was trying to make is that the point that I was trying to make is that trying to judge things based on the limit orders, the thing that has been shown to be significant as to how price will move is the latent liquidity and not necessarily the resting liquidity. In order to determine what the latent liquidity is, you have to watch the resting liquidity, but you have to watch the resting liquidity over multiple clears, essentially, and multiple prices. Okay? Well, okay, so since 10:15 a.m. Eastern time, there's been a lot less liquidity tracking the bids. Yeah. Well, through this whole thing, it seems like the bids have been awfully soft, right? Like, when we do, because a couple of weeks ago, before I was on vacation, it seemed like there was, like, some really strong trends, but, like, there was absorption against those trends every step of the way. This time that hasn't been the case. There's been many key points where they fell through several points with hardly any volume coming through at all. It's just the bids just evaporate in front of the move. Yes. If it's shorts, they can take it higher. If it's passive buyers, they can take it higher if they get smoked. Or they will get... I don't understand what you're saying there. But what I'm saying is, so based on those conditions, how do I use those conditions to determine what might happen? Okay, so first of all, I'm expecting selling. Second of all, I'm seeing the selling in the cumulative delta, and I'm seeing that autocorrelation, that the cumulative delta there's a persistent imbalance, and there's more market sell orders than market buy orders. And that change correlates with changes in price. Okay. But I'm also looking at the latent liquidity, and I'm seeing that bids are really soft, that there are many points where we trade through and it trades through on very little volume. Not that there's not any volume coming through and that there aren't changes in cumulative delta. There certainly are. It's been about 20,000 contracts net through the session. Okay. But when it actually moves, a lot of it is those bids just evaporating. Okay. So that tells me, okay, number one, that those market makers are really worried about taking on bids. They know that there's that imbalance. And that if the market makers are going to kind of do that, you're probably going to get like a really big pullback and then rotate around a certain price for a while. So it's going to do a very much it's dead, and then it just like drops like a rock, right? That's how I was able to go through and do this whole, because again, if you were trying to trade with smart money concepts, then what you would say, almost certainly the smart money concept traders would have seen this right here, and they would have called this a liquidity grab, and they said, oh, it was over. I want to wait for a fair value gap, which is probably somewhere around here. And then when it comes here, I want to buy it in the hopes that it's going to go higher, and hopefully that it will cross the whole range, but probably you take it off right there. Okay, right? But what do we know? We know that there's sell pressure because of the auction and the supply coming into the market and everything. So all this price action nonsense, it doesn't mean jack squat. But what it does mean is that when you get to this point, right, you're going to have a lot of dumb retail traders along that are just going to puke hard, right? So the failure of a strategy I know doesn't work but is popular, I want to lean into it harder a little bit. If it wasn't 9 o'clock, maybe I would have gotten in again, but I don't know. Like, we made a new low there pretty without a whole lot of ceremony and pomp, but like, it's going 3K there. That might not be enough to stop it. Might see 24. Should I have taken more on this? Because my original trade I got at 60, so there was $20 more in it. Actually, $30 more in it. Although I would have had to have been in the whole time and sat through that whole pullback, which would have almost wiped out all my profits. So, but probably, if I was really on, I probably could have gotten short again on that pullback, huh? When we were looking at houses. Yeah. Distracting myself because I'm really tired. I'm really tired. I really don't want to trade today. Anyways, that's how I did that trade. And those are the reasons why I'm trying to give you, like, obviously there's always going to be a leap of faith at some point. That's trading. Trading involves you taking all of your research and then kind of extending it into application of a specific instance where there's a large degree of uncertainty, and hoping that it ends up giving you the advantage. And so there's always a leap of faith, but there's always some real empirical data behind the decisions that I'm making too, right? And I'm combining a bunch of things that I know to be true all together. Okay, I gotta get going. I'll see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay excellent, team.